Ag Bioscience, the #1 ag tech podcast globally, is now available on video. Hear from leaders and innovators across food, animal health, plant science, ag tech, and agriculture. Mondays at 6 a.m. on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. While you're there, subscribe and leave us a review. It's the Ag Bioscience Podcast with Agronovis Indiana. Get more information at agronovisindiana.com.
This is Inside Indiana Business Radio on Demand for Wednesday, June 17th, 2026. I'm Gary Dick. Fort Wayne-based Parkview Health says it has finalized a joint operating agreement with Cincinnati Children's Hospital in Ohio. Parkview's pediatric physician leader, Dr. Tony Giacquina, says the agreement will enhance the health system's pediatric services.
What this allows us to do is to really partner shoulder to shoulder to learn from them, but also to implement their protocols, their procedures, and what makes them the very best in children's health care.
Two key Illinois political leaders say the Chicago Bears need to take a more active role in stadium negotiations, arguing lawmakers can't advance a plan to keep the team in the state until the franchise makes clear what kind of deal it wants. Illinois' House Speaker Chris Welch, echoing Governor J.B. Pritzker's comments last week, indicated he's open to the possibility of a special session and hinted the Bears' move to Indiana is far from assured. In West Central Indiana, Park County commissioners have signed an ordinance making previously announced restrictions on future data center projects official. Commissioner Jim Meese told our partners at WTWO-TV Channel 2 that while there are no plans for a data center in the county currently, officials want to set expectations early. The future of renewable fuels is getting a major boost in Central Indiana. Poet celebrating the groundbreaking of a more than $200 million expansion at its Shelbyville bioprocessing facility, marking another investment in the state's growing biofuels industry. Beyond the plant itself, the investment is expected to benefit area farmers by supporting demand for locally grown corn. You're listening to Inside Indiana Business Radio.
Thanks for listening to this IBJ Media podcast. You're probably going to remember this ad. Do you know why? Podcast advertising works. 85% of listeners recalled hearing an ad during a podcast, and 70% of podcast listeners have acted after hearing an ad. So whether you're looking to be heard across the entire IBJ Media Podcast Network, sponsor one of our shows, or just start with a 30-second ad, IBJ Media can help. Contact advertise at ibj.com to learn more.
A Seymour man who is accused of embezzling more than $200,000 from his employer has agreed to plead guilty to one count of felony wire fraud.
Court documents say the defendant, Clyde Shane Hatton, held a variety of electrician-related roles at the company between October 2004 and February 2022. He's accused of using an employee credit card to purchase copper wire, obtaining reimbursement from his employer for the purchase, then selling the wire to a scrapyard and keeping the money for himself. Prosecutors allege that Hatton did this about 107 times between October 2020 and December 2021. The employer is not identified by name in legal documents. Instead, the documents refer to the company as Victim A, an Indiana-based corporation that, quote, designs, manufactures, and distributes various engine and vehicle parts, end quote. According to a plea agreement filed Friday, Hatton has agreed to plead guilty to one count of wire fraud and to pay his former employer just over $202,000 in restitution. He has also agreed to pay a separate forfeiture of nearly $74,000, which represents the proceeds he obtained from the fraudulent activity, according to court documents. The offense is punishable by up to 20 years in prison, followed by up to 3 years of supervised release and a fine of not more than $250,000 or twice the gross gain or loss. Alex Brown, Inside Indiana Business Radio.
Indiana State University has extended Director of Athletics Nathan Christensen's contract through June of 2030 and promoted him to Vice President and Director of Athletics. The university cites record revenue growth, academic success among student athletes, and facility improvements during Christensen's 2 years leading Sycamore Athletics. This is Gary Dick for Inside Indiana Business Radio on Demand.